Hi guys, Jeremy with Four Sons Off-Road. So today we're going to cover a topic that I've wanted to cover for quite some time, and we get comments daily on our channel about this. We're going to be talking about low mile mini trucks and I guess dishonesty and to be honest, fear mongering in the mini truck business and industry. So I'm just going to cover a few things, in terms of number one, can you actually get low mile mini trucks? Like when you see these trucks with 10,000, 15,000 kilometers on them, 20,000 kilometers, is that true or have they rolled over? So let's cover a few bases first of all. Number one, every single Suzuki Carry and Daihatsu Hi-Jet mini truck that we have gotten in 1994 and up, so we're talking 1994 all the way up through the newest models, have a 6-digit odometer on them. 6 digits, not 5. I know there's a lot of information going around out there that all mini trucks have 5-digit odometers. Totally false, completely untrue. And to be honest with you, more have 6-digit odometers than have 5-digit odometers. Now, if you're looking at old trucks like 1980s and some of the early 90s models, then yes, 5-digit odometers do exist. So you will have to, watch out for that and be aware. But even if your mini truck has a 5 or a 6-digit odometer on it, is there any other way you can verify the mileage on these trucks? And the answer to that is yes. So before we get into the verifications, let's just cover a few basics as to why we even bring in and why everybody seems to be bringing in these Japanese mini trucks as opposed to Chinese or from the Philippines, Italian, all that sort of thing. Japan has a complete and entire economy built around exporting their used vehicles to the rest of the world. It's very unique to Japan. No other industry that I know of worldwide, because we've looked, trust me, has just the industry built around their used vehicle market like Japan does. So they make it very easy to verify things like current registrations, mileage, conditions, things like that through their auction system, which is really nice. The other reason why we bring in vehicles from Japan and why everybody else likes Japan so much is Japan has a very strict registration and inspection system for their vehicles. So in Japan, if you buy a brand new vehicle, so say it depends on the class, but let's go with a mini truck, so a K-class mini truck. If you went into the dealership today and picked up a brand new 2019 Suzuki Carry mini truck, you would have 3 years basically to drive that vehicle without having to do a re-registration inspection on it. After 3 years, so literally a brand spanking new vehicle, regardless of the mileage and usage on it, you literally could have driven it 1 kilometer or 1,000,000 kilometers. After 3 years, you need to take that thing in and get a complete inspection done on it. And we're talking front to back, full emissions, mechanical, everything on that vehicle, front to back. After the 3-year grace period, it has to be done every 2 years to keep that thing on the road. So literally, if you want to keep your vehicle registered, you've got to get it inspected every 2 years. Why is that important? Well, number one, the vehicles are, immaculately, kept, because if you're expecting to keep your vehicle on the road, it needs to pass these inspections, which means, mechanically it's going to be in quite good condition. And that brings up, the other aspect as to why these things show up at auction with such low miles. If they're in such great condition, why are the guys selling them? Well, that could be many different factors, but most of these mini trucks are commercially owned. Like, these aren't daily drivers. These aren't, Dan and Ted that are buying these to cruise back and forth to work with. These are commercially owned trucks, which means they're not a daily driver typically. They, a lot of them are secondary, third vehicles, fourth vehicles. They might even just sit around a yard or a market or a farm and really never even go on major roads. So they don't get miles on them like we get miles on them. And even if they were used for daily driving, they don't commute in Japan like we commute in North America. We're in Canada. I know lots of our American viewers, these vast, giant open spaces with these massive interstates, they don't exist in Japan. The average driver in Japan, we pulled up some recent stats. The average driver in Japan, 30% of Japanese drivers drive less than 4,800 kilometers per year. That's 3,000 miles. 30% of the population that drives in Japan drives less than 3,000 miles per year. 57% of the population drives less than 8,000 kilometers a year. So that's 5,000 miles a year. So you've got 57% of the vehicles on Japanese roads doing less than 5,000 miles per year. And again, these aren't daily drivers, these little mini trucks for the most part, so they often will do far, far, far less, and I've got some examples of that we're going to show you there. So can you find true low-mile mini trucks out of Japan? Absolutely you can. Now, are they all? No. I mean, like right now, if we went on our auction site and we're looking up, and again, I'm just going to use Suzuki Carry, the most popular one out there. There's probably over 700 Suzuki Carry mini trucks for sale this week in Japan on the wholesale auctions. About 700. Is it unreasonable to think that if 30%, 57% are doing less than 5,000 miles a year, 30% are doing less than 3,000 miles a year? You know, I don't have the numbers lower than that, but is it unreasonable to think that there might be 5 or 6 nice low-mile mini trucks out of 700 this week? You know, use some common sense. Everybody tells us to use common sense when it comes to a 15-year-old truck only having 20,000 kilometers on it. Well, use some common sense yourselves. Think about it. If there's out of 700 trucks this week, you know, there's a good chance that there's going to be a small handful that are low-mile, actual, you know, condition vehicles that aren't rolled over and, you know, rolled back or what have you. So that's the nice thing with the Japanese system is everything is laid out, vehicles are inspected, the auction system does inspections as well and shows you the verified mileage, and I'll get to some paperwork here. So when we are buying vehicles in Japan, when you're buying a vehicle in Japan, if your exporter's buying you a vehicle in Japan, this is what they're going to get at auction. This is an auction report, an auction inspection on a specific vehicle. So this was on a Suzuki Carry DB52. All your information up here shows the type of the vehicle, 4-wheel drive. There's your DB52 660cc. That's auction grade 4 with a interior grade of B. Very nice, clean vehicle. They actually show you any dents or scratches or little dings on the vehicle there as well. So lots of good information here. Right here's the mileage on this truck that was recorded at auction. 10,553 kilometers recorded on that vehicle. Up above is just as important. Why is that important? This is actually showing the inspection date that vehicle is. So that vehicle is currently inspected in Japan and still has a current inspection up until that date. Now these are the Japanese date system there. But so this vehicle, when it showed up at auction, before we bought it, we could see the mileage that was recorded and see that thing was still under current inspection, which means it had gone through sometime in the past 2 years and had its inspection done. So the cool thing with that is that's what we see when we're buying these trucks. So that's how we can typically verify, number one, that we're not just buying some, rebuilt or something like that. So again, watch for your auction grade. Grade 4 is excellent for a vehicle of this age. If you have an R grade, like a repair grade, or a lower grade 3, something like that, then, you can start to ask some more questions. But again, a grade 4 that's currently inspected, typically very good chance that's going to be an actual, mileage vehicle. Now, when you get that vehicle, this is what you get as well. This is the Japanese export certificate. And this is the actual, official export certificate made of that, plasticky paper with the little holograms on it and the watermark and everything. So this isn't just some photocopied piece of paper. This is the actual export certificate for that exact same truck. Why is this important? Well, number one, it shows the last two. So again, we had that truck was at auction with 10,553 kilometers. This will show the last two registrations with mileage recorded, like inspection registrations. So the first one there, that's August 18th, 2017. So on August 18th, 2017, that was recorded with 10,500 kilometers on it. So literally in the year and a half between when that thing was, inspected to when we bought it, 53 kilometers. So obviously this thing was just not getting driven at all. That thing was inspected 2 years prior to that, August 25th, 2015, 10,400 kilometers. So we're talking from 2015 all the way up to 2018 when we bought that truck. It had done about 150 kilometers. And as per the registration, inspection. And again, that vehicle was in excellent condition, just like all the vehicles we bring in. So it's nice to have that record, and you are going to get that export certificate with every single vehicle that comes out of Japan. We can't even get that thing into the country if we don't have that export certificate. And you also get it translated from your exporter as required. Again, to even get it into the country, you get a translation of that export certificate to show you all the dates and things like that. So another example, and I'll show you, they don't all, that's just one really extreme example of a super low mile truck that wasn't getting used at all. Here's another one. This was a DA63T Suzuki that we picked up. So again, auction grade 4, interior grade B, really nice clean shape. 23,440 kilometers recorded on that truck. And again, currently registered with a current inspection, super important. We love to see that. And again, when we got the export certificate for that truck, let me just grab the translation here. So down at the bottom again, we see the last registration, or the last inspection prior to the current one was in 2016, so that's July of 2016, so the current one would have expired in 2018, when we brought that vehicle in. So that was recorded with 21,000 kilometers on it. So again, at auction that had 23,440 kilometers. So in the 2 years, from the last inspection, the thing went 2,400 kilometers. Again, prior to that, that's June of 2014, 16,900 kilometers that thing was recorded at in 2014. So you can see this thing was literally being driven a couple thousand kilometers a year only, and again was currently inspected. So the nice thing with these registrations, even if you have a 5-digit odometer, with those registrations they take the mileage every single time. So even if the vehicle rolls over, the Japanese registration system still has record of that thing rolling over. So even though the odometer might say 10,000 kilometers on it, the registration and export certificate is going to say 110,000 kilometers on it, or 210,000 kilometers on it. But again, that's for the older trucks. The newer stuff, 1994 and up Suzukis and Daihatsus for sure, 6-digit odometers. So if you've got paperwork backing it up, like we've got, if you've got the current inspection on it at auction and a 6-digit odometer, that's where all this fear mongering comes in. Like these things all have to be rolled over and 1,000,000 miles on them. No, they don't. They don't. Are there some? Absolutely, man. You look at auction, out of those 700 trucks, there's half of them are 150, 300,000. You'll see a few of them with 300,000 or 400,000 kilometers on them, and let me tell you, they look like they have 300,000 or 400,000 kilometers on them. Like they're pretty beat up at that point. So you just have to watch what you're getting. But again, just do your homework. You don't have to fear monger that every truck out there with low kilometers has got to be rolled over 2 or 3 times. Get the paperwork to back it up. Ask for this stuff from your exporter, your dealer, whoever is selling you that truck. They got this paperwork at some point. So this information is there. Ask for it. If they don't have that information or aren't willing to share it with you, well, there's some red flags, right there. So that's where I would be more concerned as a deal. If a dealer or an exporter isn't willing to share the export certificates with you or the auction inspections, then you've got bigger issues with that exporter than worrying if the truck has, the right mileage recorded on it. So again, just do your homework, and let's stop the fear mongering about all of these trucks being miled out and rolled over 3 or 4 times. It's not true. It's not true. We've made a business of picking on these really nice, clean, low miles. And again, look back at our videos. We've done videos of the auction system and showing how difficult it can be sometimes to even find a truck with low miles. So out of 500, 700 trucks, some weeks, some months, there is nothing. There's nothing, with these nice, clean, low miles in good condition. So it's not like, we can just go any day of the week that we want out of Japan and pick a truck with 15,000 kilometers on it. Sometimes it doesn't happen. But again, if we wait long enough and just cherry pick the good stuff, it definitely does exist. So be sure again to check out our channel. We've got lots of other videos describing the auction system and showing the condition of these little trucks. And check out our website, foursonsoffroad.com. Make sure to subscribe and comment below. I'd love to hear it. If you believe us or don't believe us, it's really irrelevant to me. Maybe the mini truck thing's not for you, but again, we don't mind seeing your comments out there. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. Let us know if you'd like to see any other videos like this in the future as well. We're happy to share this information as far as the export systems, these mini trucks, whatever it might be. We don't. There's no secrets in this game. There's only information. So Again, let us know in the comments what you think. Have a good day.